Does a discontinued guitar mean that it's a bad instrument? Let's have a look. What's up guys, welcome to TUGGtv, and on today's episode we have a very polarizing topic. It's all about discontinued instruments and specifically discontinued guitars. Now a fair warning for all of you guys out there, you guys are going to be listening to the word discontinued quite often in this video. So there are a couple of games that you can play with it. One is go back to your school time when you just mark out how many times that I say this. Or you can play the adult version wherein you have a shot for every time that I say discontinued. And if you want to make the stakes higher, there is another way. You can take a shot for every time that I say discontinued and another shot for every time that I say manufacturer. Let's see how many of you guys are going to be awake by the end of this video. So the other day when I was servicing a few of my guitars, it came to my notice that most of the guitars what I own are actually discontinued by the manufacturers. Not only is it that a few of the guitars in my collection are discontinued, but my primary axis, the ESP AX260 and the Schecter Demon V1 FR, both of these are discontinued by the manufacturers. Now, in the Indian market and probably a few other countries as well, there is a sort of stigma which actually lies in discontinued instruments. We have heard a lot of people say that discontinued guitars are not good, and this is with respect to either they're buying it fresh off of the store or also from the used markets. There are a lot of people who question the fact if a guitar is being manufactured at that particular moment just to establish that it's a good guitar. Today we're going to talk about the exact reasons why a particular guitar might get discontinued by the manufacturers, and is it good to pick up a discontinued model. Starting off in this list, we have the first reason, which is it's just a bad guitar. Yes, let's face it, from time to time there are going to be guitars which are not up to the mark. These might be because of changes or experiments that the manufacturers would be doing with, say, the body shape, the neck shape, the components, the specs, anything of this sort. Now, there are a lot of areas in which it might sound really good on paper, but once it goes to the market, it might not be well suited for the musicians out there. So out of all the reasons which I'll actually be listing down today, this is the only reason which is against going for a discontinued guitar. With that being said, these guitars also can play a really good foundation if you want to completely modify or revamp an instrument, and if you're getting it for cheap, hey, why not? Now the next thing that we need to talk about is about endorsements and design by a specific person. There are a lot of times that an artist or a designer would actually be affiliated to one of the manufacturers, and they would be the ones who are in the driving seat for this particular set of instruments. These include signature guitars and probably a few series of models as well. Now let's take a look at Ola England. Before he started Solar Guitars, he used to manufacture all his signature / series from Washburn. Now once Ola started his own company, which is Solar, he took all the ideas because technically that is his IP. So due to copyright issues, these companies cannot manufacture those guitars anymore. So yeah, sometimes it just depends on the individual who's been associated with that particular company. Another thing which influences the manufacturers to take guitars out of the line is competition within the same series. There are a lot of times when the manufacturers have very similar models in the same line but differ just a bit by the specs. So what happens is this leads to this distribution of the audience. Now the buyers would technically be differentiated into these particular models just because of the fact, say, like a color difference, probably a pick guard being added, or just a hardware color change. There are a lot of things which influence this. So now this is closely interlinked with the cost situation, which I'll be talking about as my next point. But all you need to know is the fact that sometimes the guitars are removed just so that they can centralize on the sales. Now there are so many situations wherein the manufacturers actually bring in a brilliant guitar to the market, but then start realizing the cost aspect of things. And when I say cost aspect, there are two things which we need to consider. The first one is regarding the cost ratio of what it takes for the manufacturer to build it and what it is actually being sold for in the market. So if the ratio is not very profitable, a lot of manufacturers do end up taking this off the market because it just doesn't make sense for them to produce them anymore. Now the second thing that manufacturers take into mind is the number of units which are actually sold. If a guitar doesn't sell, say, X number of units, they don't actually make a profit while, producing these guitars. So this might be another reason why they take it off of the market. Considering all of this and knowing the market, may it be guitars, cars, or anything of that sort, manufacturers don't exactly keep a model in play until and unless it's a value add to them and making a good profit. Now the next thing that we need to talk about is guitars getting revamped. Over time, there are a lot of these guitars which get a facelift and are reintroduced to the market. Now the companies, knowing you guys, they obviously wouldn't want to market it as the same model, would they? They need to keep things fresh and push in this guitar as a new entry to the market. Take the RG series of Ibanez for that matter. There are a lot of guitars in sequential numbers which pretty much seem like the exact same model which was there probably 5-6 years ago, but then just changed by the model number. Now the last thing which we need to talk about is lawsuits. Now let's say for example that there is a company which asks you to play Authentic, puts a copyright claim on another guitar manufacturer who's doing relatively well in his series. Now because of legal obligations, the second manufacturer cannot continue building this particular instrument till the lawsuit is over or till they win it. So with that, we're pretty much there near the end of this particular video. So knowing all of these reasons about why a particular guitar gets discontinued, I don't think there is any particular reason for you not to buy one until and unless there is some issue with that particular guitar. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys out there will agree with me that as long as it serves the purpose, that's all what is required of a guitar. Now just a small story for you guys, my Schecter Demon V1 FR was a guitar which I was searching for from a really long time, and when I actually picked it up from the store, this was discontinued for I think more than 4 years. So what do you guys feel? Is there anything wrong in picking up a discontinued guitar, or do you still have a bit of stigma towards it? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you're somebody who's a proud owner of a discontinued guitar, let us know of that as well. So if this is the first time that you guys are here, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and the bell icon as well. We have a lot of videos which has to do with experimenting about guitars, basses, and everything about music. So this is TUGGtv signing off, and until next time, stay metal.